You know, it was pretty easy for Amazon to create a circus-like frenzy for Denver and a couple hundred other U.S. cities. All they had to do was dangle a $5 billion carrot and the promise of a ton of high-paying jobs and just watch lawmakers dance for Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos and his new headquarters, HQ2. Atlanta choreographed a deal promising $1 billion in tax incentives and vowing to make Bezos the mayor of one of its suburbs. Maryland waltzed in with $3 billion in tax incentives and promised $2 billion in road improvements. Now, Newark, New Jersey, well, what they offered is about as close to dirty dancing as you'll ever see in a corporate courtship. $7 billion in tax incentives. Now, we can't match that. Here in Denver, we're hoping Bezos will see that we're the belle of the ball, sexy, beautiful, and smart. So let's take a 360 spin around the dance floor to see exactly what's at stake with Amazon's HQ2 and whether we really want our dance card filled by Mr. Bezos. Here are the stats about HQ2 as laid out by Amazon. They expect to spend a staggering $5 billion for construction and infrastructure. Over time, they'll create 50,000 new jobs, averaging $100,000 each, while also generating tens of thousands of indirect jobs in industries like hotels, restaurants, and housing. All that means an influx of talented workers making some pretty good coin.
We should see people's incomes increasing as a business comes in. They need more workers, and in order to do that, they sometimes have to bribe them or steal them from other businesses, and that pushes up wages.
And then there's the global upside. Amazon intentionally wants to be near an international airport like DIA. People from around the globe will travel to Amazon's new digs, further solidifying Denver as a worldwide destination. Now, that means more tourism dollars landing on the state's doorsteps faster than a prime delivery.
We're trying to look at this from a positive standpoint and seeing the possibilities of moving Denver ahead in the 21st century.
Now, staying positive is another way of saying we're all optimistic it'll be okay, right? But take a 360 view of this with realtor Cynthia Parker, who warns about wearing rose-colored glasses.
I'm concerned more about the most vulnerable, those who are on fixed incomes and in rental situations.
Seattle Mayor Tim Burgess says we should be worried. He says the downsides are going to affect people who are traditionally marginalized anyway, or already. People living in poverty, people of color, immigrants, and refugees. And Mayor Burgess says he wishes his city's affordable housing program that requires developers to build or fund units for low and middle income residents was in place 10 years ago. Now, really let that sink in amid the growing pains we are already dealing with. We have a housing crisis. It's pushing low and middle income residents out of Denver. Bring in Amazon, it's like double espresso gentrification.
It keeps going up and up. I probably won't be able to.
Same for renters. Apartment List did a study about how landing HQ2 would affect Denver rents. An additional 8.8% in price over the next 10 years. And that's on top of however much it's going to increase without Amazon. And we're already at $1,350 a month for a two-bedroom.
And I don't know how much more growth we can absorb, quite frankly. The infrastructure, I don't know, has the capability.
Infrastructure. That means things like roads for cars. A lot of cars. You think your commute's bad now. Add the entire city of Biloxi, Mississippi into your rush hour, and you see what happens. I can already hear Jason Luber in the back of my head warning about the traffic on I-25 near the tech center and the gridlock on I-70.
And the traffic jam is now lasting about 20 minutes in there.
And let's face it, we're behind the eight ball when it comes to expanding our highways and public transit system to accommodate our current growth. Denver 7 asked CDOT and the leaders behind the Amazon bid just how many additional vehicles HQ2 could bring. Yeah, they sort of dodged the question by saying that public transportation is a central part of the plan.
55% of the employees at the Seattle location for Amazon commute by bike, transit, or walk to work. And only 15% live in the same location as their office.
50,000 more people moving to Colorado is inevitable over time. If not Amazon, it'll be any other handful of companies wanting to call Colorado home. But there is a sense that perhaps Colorado may be ready to let someone else have this jewel for their crown. Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper, one of the chief HQ2 recruiters, surprised a lot of people recently when he said there will be a sense of relief if they choose somewhere else, the governor said, because there are a lot of challenges and a lot of hard work we'll be avoiding. Amazon will make its decision sometime this year. It would be a lot of money. It would be a lot of prestige. But do we really want it? Are we going to be like the dog that after all those years chasing cars finally catches one? Now what's he supposed to do? And we are listening to you, Colorado, and boy, do you have a lot to say. We received so many comments and suggestions on our first few 360 stories. Keep them coming. Tell us what you think about our bid for Amazon. And if you ever have an idea for a Denver 7 360 topic, email us 360@kmgh.com.